Sorry this video is a little late. This is my review of Season 2, Episode number 7 of the Halo TV show. This episode was entitled Thermopalye. Two things. Number one, if you like what you see, consider subscribing. Number two, major shout out to Space Station Gaming for winning the first HCS Master of 2024. It was a very, very well fought victory against Optic Gaming. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Halo. This is the penultimate episode of season number 2. As far as I can tell, and as far as I have seen through ratings and some of the comments made by Paramount executives and following a lot of the actors and seeing what they are saying, it seems to me we will get a third season of Halo. So I do not think this is the end of the series, but we are getting close to the end of the season. As far as penultimate episodes go, they're supposed to build up this hype and excitement leading into the finale. And unfortunately, a lot of times, I think these types of episodes do come off a little dry because there's a lot of stage setting. And then ultimately, you start to get massive payoffs at the end of a season. And unfortunately, I think this episode played it way too safe. And there was a lot of stuff in this episode that I feel like could have been a little longer baked. I would say that has been my biggest criticism of the show since the beginning, is things happen at an incredibly accelerated pace. And I don't think you really get to feel the scope or the sense of loss or pain or any of those kind of raw emotions because you don't really get a chance to connect with the characters. And as fast as you start to see what they're about, they're immediately resolved and they go on to the next thing. Case in point, Colonel Ackerson finally grows a spine. Although John was largely responsible in this, Colonel Ackerson finally sees just how bad the Office of Naval Intelligence is. He just finally begins to understand how manipulated he has been by Sarah Parangoski. And it's frustrating to me because Margaret Parangoski. It's so frustrating to me because I feel like that betrayal could have been played out so much better. Remember, this is the guy just a few episodes ago who had committed patricide, who took away Johnny Ring's armor. This is the guy who left an entire planet to basically die. And then suddenly he has this change of conscience. He speaks out and he's immediately jailed. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about where you look at somebody's arc. It's a cool arc. I mean, it's a villain who did what he thought was the right thing to do. Clearly it wasn't. And kind of a higher authority uses him as bait just as he has used other people on bait. So it's like the little fish gets eaten by a little bigger fish, and that fish gets eaten by a little bigger fish. Well, Parangoski is still the biggest fish in the game. And unfortunately, she's going to kind of use him to kind of cover her own butt. So you have a lot of this Halo, you have a lot of this Spartan 3 storyline that doesn't really gain as much traction as I think it could have. Even with the Spartan 3s, look at the lineage of those characters, how we just find out about them 2 episodes ago. Kai's training him, another suddenly sends out to die. I always inject a lot of my knowledge of the show from the expanded canon universe, right? That lore I bring with me. So all the books, all the games, all the podcasts, all the ancillary stuff that I read helps me flesh out the story. But looking over at my wife, who doesn't really care about Halo as much as me, and spoilers, I don't think anybody cares as much as Halo is about me. I could see a lot of the stuff is like losing her. And I feel like I have to pause and be like, wait a minute, this is important because X, Y, Z. And she's like, oh, that's actually really cool. Why didn't they show that in the show? And I'm like, I don't know. So we're still in that same kind of rut where we're not really fully explaining things in a way I think that makes the most cinematic sense, but it is what it is. So you have that Colonel Ackerson storyline, which kind of, I don't know where it's going to go from here. I mean, the guy's in jail. Seemingly his story is done. I don't know. Maybe there's more to it. Soren, who has been searching for his son, finds his son and then immediately loses his son again. Now he loses his wife and his son. I like Soren's character arc. I like that Soren is somebody who kind of was forced to care, But again, as I just said with kind of the other storyline, we don't really get that sense of loss of losing his kid when he immediately finds him like 2 episodes later. Kessler is somehow instantly brainwashed into being a Spartan 3. He's scared of his dad when his dad defends him in this kind of training ground where they're sent to basically be beat up. It happens so fast. The whole arc of what's going on with him, it's hard to really digest. Are we led to believe that his kid was somehow injected very quickly with kind of the Spartan super serum, and this is his first mission? Because he still looks like a scrawny little kid to me. He doesn't look like he's a battle-hardened guy. Obviously, you compare that to the storyline of a Spartan 2, for example, where, they were basically brainwashed since they were 6 and completely dehumanized and turned into military assets. There's no way that Kessler could have gone through that transformation in that short amount of time. So it makes it kind of difficult to sympathize with. I mean, it seems like this all happened in like 2 days. It seems like 2 days ago he was abducted and now he's been reunited with his parents. I would think if that happened, he would probably be a little frustrated, like, hey, Dad, where'd you go? But his reaction to his parents finding him is very, very odd. Another storyline we see, Kwan with the Halseys, and as expected, Kwan is going to have the Blessed One type of gift. She's able to decipher the locks down underneath Onyx, and both the Halseys go in to uncover this new city with this new technology. Now, in the books, this is kind of what would happen leading to the evolution of Cortana and the evolution of the location of Halo. I don't really know what the point of this part of it is because they already know where Halo is. Clearly, Johnny Rings is heading out there to kind of go see it. So I'm not really sure where this storyline is going. I know that there was a lot of talk of kind of like Kwan was going to be the one that was going to lead them somewhere. But now that John basically flies there on his own at the end of the episode, I'm not really sure what Kwan's arc entails. And then obviously, I think the best part of the show, Chief seeing his armor, actually getting to put it on again, which is cool. Seems like it's been a long time since we've seen him in his armor. Having those kind of heartfelt conversations with McKee and them agreeing to disagree about the awesome power of what Halo is. Again, frustratingly, they shouldn't really know what Halo is at this point. It was kind of something they stumbled into. Recall that in Halo 1, aka Halo Combat Evolved, Chief is about to turn it on before Cortana tells him it's a weapon. He doesn't even know what it's going to do. So again, not trying to criticize or compare. I mean, criticize absolutely, but not trying to compare because we're so far divergent now. A lot of the knowledge I have is just fleshing out gaps in the story for me, but I don't really know where this is going to go. So now that Chief knows where Halo is, seems like he's flying there. He's going to meet McKee there. He's going to meet the Arbiter there. I'm not really sure what this final stand is unless it's going to be kind of Arbiter's fleet versus the remnants of the Covenant fleet. I don't really know where this is quite going. It seems like the show, due to writing their own narrative and their own story, maybe put themselves in a little bit weird place of a corner here. Because it doesn't make logical sense to me now what's happening and why. When Parangoski's sending the Spartan 3s off to this basically suicide mission, I had thought that was the Halo kind of army, the Covenant army around Halo, but I don't think it was. I think it's two separate places. If it is, Chief flying in on his own doesn't make a whole lot of sense if there's a bunch of Spartan 3s that are dying like 50 feet away from him trying to deliver the spike. So that doesn't make much sense either. I have a feeling going into the final episode, some of these mysteries will be solved. I think they will continue to kind of murder and kill off ancillary characters. I unfortunately don't think Kai is going to make it. I think this is probably the end of Ackerson. I'm not really kind of sure what's going on with Soren. I think Kwan's storyline is probably wrapping up. But they clearly added a lot of people for like this TV filler, essentially. But now that we're getting to the nitty gritty of what should be happening, if the show is going to kind of follow more along the lines of traditional Halo now, and we're all caught up, and now we're going to be on the ring and uncover the mysteries together. A lot of these ancillary characters kind of take a backseat. And I think that's why you've been seeing them all kind of get set up to die or to kind of be retconned or deleted off camera. Remains to be seen. I'll definitely be back for final review for next week's episode. I hope it's good. I hope there's something that makes me say, wow. This episode, I'd have to say, out of every episode this season, to me, this was the worst episode, which is sad because it's the penultimate episode. And I feel like watching it, really scratching my head as to like, why are we doing this again? And what was the point of that? I need more of a payoff. And if you give us good character development and you give us good, a reason to fight and a reason to be invested, then those payoffs are going to mean a lot more. But when a character is introduced and then is quickly removed, or problems that shouldn't be problems arise just from a logical perspective, like Chief just wandering around Onyx Base like seemingly unscathed for an extensive period of time, it's hard to ground it. And I like that season 2 did so much better than 1, but after seeing an episode like this, it just kind of makes you wonder, like, what was the thought of this? What was when they were all sitting in the writing room talking about this, like, was this what they thought was the best way to do it? I don't know. I'll be back for the finale, and I'll have a lot more thoughts about the series as a whole then, or at least the season. I'll probably be able to at least give some more final thoughts, assuming some of these storylines are wrapped up. But until then, that'll be it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.